High vibrations, bestie. Okay, it's your no BS woo-woo sis coming in to read some cards for you. Honestly, I've just been feeling more and more open and authentic as I've been pulling the cards, because sometimes how do I put this nicely? Like, that's literally the feeling when I pull cards recently, is like, how do I put this gently or nicely to who needs to hear it? But I don't feel like that's really ever been my role, to put things and sugarcoat things and all that kind of BS. Like, sometimes in my own experience, that feels like a disservice to me. It feels hurtful to me and like an insult to my intelligence. Sometimes it's like, let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just keep it a buck. You know what I mean? And so that's what I kind of feel like you sometimes might be looking for. Maybe that's why you like listening to my audios. And you just kind of want it to be real, cut and dry, no runaround. And I respect that. And that's why your guides are calling upon me to speak on certain things, so that I can deliver the message the way that you need to hear it, the time that you need to hear it, and all that groovy stuff. You need to balance yourself, truly. You need to really find some balance within yourself. I feel like there's a tug of war happening, and it's not cute. It's just like not cute. And it's actually kind of putting a distance between what you want, what you've been working for. And I'm just going to keep it real. Like I said, the guides are like kind of annoyed because, you know, you really prayed on this. You at one point were in connection with your highest and greatest wisdom, and you prayed for these things. And now, because you're out of balance, all of a sudden you want to start acting messy. Like, no, babe, you don't put that much energy. You don't ask your angels, your ancestors, your guides for these types of things. You know, pray this hard only to then be messy, dude. No. That's not what we're going to do here. There's a need to really figure out what is going on with your intimacy and your sexuality, and like nip that shit in the bud. Figure it out, because you truly are lacking like joy and pleasure because of this. Like, the word pleasure shouldn't be so much around it. Like, that's something that should be easy and feel good to you, and clearly it's not. Why is that? Something needs to change here. There's this feeling of maybe this is a journey. This has been a journey, and it continues to be a journey, and it probably will be a journey for your lifetime. It's always a process of unfolding and becoming ourselves, and that's what's really cool about life. And we're not like freaking out about it or obsessing over it or putting a lot of negative, shitty energy into it. Instead of just like appreciating, that's what it is. This is a journey. This is a process. This is how it goes. And something happened. And it's time to let go. Let go and let God, or whoever you need to give it to them and let go, because you are no longer giving yourself the love and kindness that you deserve because of this thing, this situation, occurrence, whatever. And you are not acting in alignment with your highest and greatest good, your higher self. You know, you asked your angels for one thing, and then the way you're showing up, it's not in alignment with that. And you gotta let go of whatever that is, and you need to make room for the things that you prayed for, the blessings that are literally on their way to you now, because of the way that you were acting, the vibration you were emitting, putting out. The choices you make are your vibration. I'm going to say it one more time. Hopefully it really marinates, You are your choices. The choices you make are your vibration. That is every choice that you make and decide to give into is the vibration that you put out into the world, and baby, you're gonna get it back threefold. You're deciding this. You're deciding your vibration, and you're deciding what you're getting back. And as someone who's had some really horrible shit happen to them, I understand that there is a spiritual bypassing that does go down where it's everything that I ever had received is just a reflection of me and when I think about myself and blah, blah, blah. We're not talking about that right now. Babe, let's be accountable, right? Let's be for real. You know it's good. You're not acting in alignment with the things that you prayed for. That means that you're not trusting that you are blessed, that you're not trusting that you are genuinely aligned with the things that you craved and desired from a real soul place. And it's really just time to show up for yourself. It's easy sometimes to put that elsewhere, to put that on an external thing. Maybe that's been the journey thus far of oh my God, this thing happened to me, something happened to me, someone happened to me, right? To me. At what point are you going to believe that life is not happening to you, but for you? At what point are you going to believe in the law of causality, right? At what point are you going to start just waking up to your own choices and your own ability to act in alignment with all the things that you genuinely want? I'm actually really surprised that a specific thing didn't show up. Butterflies may be significant or a symbol. Feathers as well. Okay, whoa, yeah, there it is. Okay, there's that, answers that. This is definitely impacting your community. The reading was reading, okay? And what was showing up before I even pressed record was you're not having as much fun as you need to be, period. But you're also not having as much fun as you need to be with your friends and your community and your people. And it is coming from a place of feeling like you need to protect yourself. Like I said, I don't know what happened. I don't know what it is. It probably fucking sucked, and it probably was really fucking bad, and it probably shouldn't have happened to you because life is full of that stuff. But you are now self-harming with the amount of distance you're keeping between yourself and the things that you want and the people you love and the people that are close to you. You're not having enough fun. This is a diagnosis right here and right now, okay? You need to take this seriously. I'm giving you a prescription. You need to have more fun. It's just, that's it. This is very serious. Some might even say life-threatening. Reflect on some times where you felt light, you were just the life of the party. I was getting the kind of oh, here's the party, the party's here. You need to figure out how to show up as that. I don't know if that's something you've ever thought of yourself as. Maybe it's time for you to show up to the party of your life, or really recognize that this is your freaking party, babe. You need to show up for it. This is what's coming through, I'm just reading the cards, okay? There's definitely some notions that I don't know. I think people maybe wanting things from you or expecting things from you, expecting a version of you, maybe keeping their eye on you. And, you know, I don't know. It's like weird. I don't know if you're just not giving people what they expect from you, or if that's sort of the feeling. And maybe you kind of aren't showing up the way that you want to either, or kind of expect yourself to either. And I really feel like it has a lot to do with like this like intense need to protect yourself. But you are like now doing this from the wrong people. You're protecting yourself from the wrong people and from your community. And ultimately, there's bee symbolism here, bee medicine showing up here. You're protecting yourself from your hive. And like, you need that to be here. I don't know how else to put it, but like, you need people. People need people. It's just the way of life. Sorry. I've been there too, where I'm like, I don't think so, actually. Like, I think I could be just fine. But no, hate to break it to you, take it from my own mental breakdown. You do need people, and you do need a support system. And if you don't have one right now, go find one, go make one. It's entirely up to you. You're the creative director of your own life, right? This has been my message lately. I'm here to tell you. You got this. Like, that's on you. And it's really just kind of up to you. Like I said before, somebody prayed for the things that you're either keeping yourself from, or the things that you have now, but you know, you're kind of being a little messy with them. I'm just going to be honest. You need to commit to this. Interesting. You need to commit to whatever it is that you prayed for. Your guides are not messing around. Your guides are not messing around with you, because think of it this way. Like, think of, we're going to take a walk to my kitchen and put my lasagna in the fridge, because I forgot. Think of it this way. If you were showing up relentlessly for someone or something, putting in all of this work to do what some might dare say is the impossible, you know, and it's like you're making the impossible possible, okay? And it feels like you sometimes are working miracles out here doing the Lord's work. These are just some things that I'm like, you know, pulling. And then, you know, the person that you are putting all this work into, and putting all this work like into yourself, maybe even for, all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, but I don't really care that you did all of that. I kind of just like, doesn't really mean that much to me now that it's all said and done. Like, I might have asked for this and like complained about this for years, decades even. I probably got down on my knees and prayed. I cried. I did all of the things. And now that you've done it, it really doesn't mean that much. It's not important. Yeah. So imagine that. Okay. But now like you're doing that to yourself. Okay. So stop. Like, what is that? You prayed for these things. Other people prayed for these things. I'm definitely seeing like angels, symbolism for angels, guardian angels, or lost loved ones that are watching over your path, watching over your journey. These are people who probably prayed for you. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That's like what I do, okay? The cards are saying like, this is like your fate, like you're fated for this. This whole lesson that you're learning also fated. So it's like, you know, don't be too hard on yourself, but also like, okay, it's not fated for you to be struggling forever, okay? Your fate and your destiny is not for you to be constantly feeling this way. Insert feeling here, okay? That is not your destiny. That is not what you prayed for or what other people prayed for on your behalf. It's not. Someone needs you to show up differently in a major way. I'm sorry. Like, kind of like empathizing with how it feels to receive this message. And it's like, ooh, damn, but truthfully, this feels cyclical. This feels like pattern behavior. And people are asking of you, maybe not even vocally, but like spiritually praying, like, I hope this person shows up better. Like, I hope they really make the right choices this time. This feels like karmic feminine. This feels like potentially mother wounds. There is for sure like some feminine wounding showing up here for certain. And I mean, anytime it comes to connecting in like the heart space and keeping people at a distance, which has been an underlying theme actually for the whole collective, so you're not alone in any of this, it is a feminine energy center. That's where we start to drop into the feminine, right? Because those upper energy centers, and this was coming actually up in the masculine reading I did last night, but throat, the crown, these are masculine energy centers. And when we spend too much time in this space, we bring too much awareness to this space, and we are not, fully rooting downward and moving that energy downward. We become really disembodied, over analytical, over thinking, anxious, all the things. And it's not cozy. It's not comfy. I used to relate to feeling like a floating head sometimes because it was like just so much headspace, so much in my head. When we start to bring that energy downward and move that, especially from the throat space, if we're not vocalizing how we feel, we're not asking what we need, or whatever it is that needs to be expressed in some way. Maybe it's like just expressing the emotions. Have you cried? Have you let out like a gurgling groan from the depths of your soul? Like, whatever you need to do, like, start opening up that space. Me coming on here and recording this is that for me, and healing that for me. But then as you keep moving downward, bringing that energy, rooting that energy downward, we're going down. Most people heal up, but we're going down. Going down. Basement to all my freaking ravers out there. That first energy center that we usually bump into and need to work through and open up and heal is that heart space. That's how we connect to others. We feel close to others. We feel safe. We feel accepted. We feel seen and appreciated, and it has to start with us, and then it's reciprocated and given back. But that's a feminine energy center. So that is feminine energy that needs to be healed and is wounded. That's what's keeping us in that place and way of operating, right? And I'm like tapping on my collarbones. That's an EFT thing. You can do that when you feel really high intensity emotions, or you find yourself thinking a way that you don't want to be thinking. You need to tap on that space very lightly. Collarbones, okay? For those of you who don't know, I'm a certified EFT practitioner. It's something that I used in my coaching programs and absolutely swear by. A lot of my clients spoke about feeling intense and immediate release of high emotions, bad thought patterns, all those things when using EFT. So please go find resources and tools and things that work for you and use them, okay? Because we are seeing here in the symbols and in the cards that right now the intrusive thoughts are winning. They are winning, babe. And you gotta really be not falling down the messy rabbit hole, and make sure we're not just completely looking outside of ourselves of like, oh, well, there's a reason I do this and that I did that in the past because of this. Because what are you doing right now that's kind of still similar and messy and keeping you from the things that you want to be doing, or the way you want to be acting, or the things you want to have. Ten is significant. I don't know if I said it already. I think I did 555, and then also 444. What else did I come through? There is another thing I wanted to share. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like for sure a lot of noticing the whole intimacy side of things that I spoke on at the start of this reading. It's like pleasure needs to start the very, very most basic meaning right now for you. That's what I'm just seeing. That's what I've been notioned. It's like, don't try to jump into the deep end with this without, dipping your toes in the water first. Please, go very slowly with this, because not only will that just be really good and healing for you, but that's the only way that any kind of intimacy or eroticism healing can be done, because eroticism is slow. It is slow, taking your time, being fully present and embodied in that moment. You cannot rush these things. Eroticism is slowing everything down and stretching a minute into a fucking hour. There's nothing more erotic than having time and feeling into that moment versus rushing on to the next one. Okay, and finding pleasure in the most minute things. It does not have to be physical intimacy, but if you're gonna start there, start with just learning how to touch on yourself in ways that are really not sexual, but feeling safe and connected to your body. It awakens a sensuality within yourself that's just so much more accessible and easily it's just there, it's just more easily accessible and able to be tapped into. The more we're just fully embraced and intimate with ourselves. And this is really honestly a nice reading for me, because it's really bringing me back to a time and space in my journey that was fucking crucial for figuring out really who I was, what I wanted, feeling safe to ask for that, right? Because the more we can give ourselves that real intimacy and connection and love and appreciation and touch and safety and all of that we want from everywhere, right? But can't really find, oh my God, we become so much more capable to just be this is what I need, okay? This is what I want. I can give it to myself, so you either show up with this or show up that way, or there's really no other way. So it's a very empowering experience, but it is a journey, right? And there's usually some kind of thing that's attached to it, right? Why was that a block in the first place? Oh, there's good reason for it, So I'm not here to pretend this is an easy journey, but I am here to tell you that your angels, your ancestors, you guys, they want it for you. They want that kind of joy, pleasure, and sensuality that is lacking in some way, some form. And for me, in my own way that this is showing up is a very specific and kind of another layer of that journey that I think maybe you are beginning to take on right now. This is more so the I'm actually not even going to get into it because it really relates to my reading I did last night for the masculine. So I'm not going to get too repetitive there, but I feel this. I get it. In my own way, I am with you. Okay, so you need to commit to this because you need to commit to yourself in the version of yourself that has this and that wants this. There's a really beautiful, like, pure part of yourself that's wanting something here, and you need to commit to that. Because I think maybe not only is it the distance between you and your circle and people around you, but it's like it's distancing you from yourself and maybe who you once knew yourself to be. That hurts. That's a yucky place to come from. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm all for somebody being very connected to themselves, feeling so aligned and feeling so like big and taking up space and just being in their awesome radical realness. So there's a lot of community healing that needs to happen here. Stop looking for intimacy in the wrong places. Truly you need to learn how to receive it in the healthiest ways. This is something that maybe just wasn't accessible or just didn't come easy to you in the past. But there's indications now that it can be easy, and you need to let it be. Do not be the one now who creates the problems that you didn't deserve to ever have in the first place. You know, don't be the one to perpetuate this now for yourself. And there's an activity that I highly, highly recommend for all people. If you're human, do this, okay? Because as human beings, we have human needs. That sounds simple, no-brainer, right? No, it is a brainer because the list of needs, holy Toledo, it is huge. There are so many human needs. The first time I actually looked into this, I was baffled at like all of the like just little things that we don't think. I don't know, for me, I lived in survival mode for so long. Human needs to me is like food. You know, if I can sleep, that I need to do that. Like those are such like cut and dry, very simple, basic needs. But there are so many human needs. They come in emotional, they come in spiritual, they come in physical, they come in all different ways. I have a downloadable worksheet, if you will, and it's a huge list of, well, what it actually is the big juicy list of human needs, because I had to put a little bit of my stank on it, you know. So it's big, it's juicy, it is plentiful. There are a lot of needs that need to be met in our lives to feel full and to feel like whole and to feel well-rounded. If you feel imbalanced, just check in on your needs, like what's not being met, and like find a way to do that, okay? But here's the thing, here's the practice, okay? Once you have that list, now take a piece of paper and separate it into 3 sections, okay? Needs I want met by myself, needs I want met by my partner, and needs I want met by others. This can be community in all forms. Maybe it's your friends, maybe it's your family, maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's a meeting, maybe it's a class that you're in, you know, whatever that needs to look like for you, and you have it at your disposal. Those are all people that you can think of as your support system and your resources. Take that big list and separate it into these 3 categories. What needs can you meet realistically on your own? Okay, if you're anything like myself, that was my biggest category. I believed I could do everything on my own, and I was really frustrated to find out that I could not, okay? So then you can put those other needs by your community, by your friends, by whoever. It was really frustrating because I found that there was a lot of needs that I wanted to be met by other people, but I just didn't have the right people to support those needs in my life. And I had to start really being real with myself of like, okay, this person actually isn't conducive to my well-being. I can't really rely on them to meet these very specific, basic human needs that I look for in my friendships and my connections. How much access do I give them to my life? How much do I connect with them? And then here's the one that I think we all think about a little bit, maybe sometimes too much, right? Is what do I need from my partner? Be for real with this list. It's so useful and helpful to me. I really love going into this practice maybe like once a year and just like checking in, making sure I'm like staying truthful to what I need from myself and others. And it changes. Life changes us. That is subject to change. So it's okay to check in every once in a while. But let's be for real. I putting way too much expectancy on my partner to meet way too many needs that I should be either meeting myself or having met by other people. Now, here's where the cards want to give you a little tea, though. Do not, do the practice so that you have no reason to even, act messy at all, okay? And try to meet that need through somewhere else, in some other way. We probably already have this conscious awareness of okay, this is a need that I like to have with my partner. Or my partner usually meets this need. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, but I kind of like it from over here too. Hello. No. Do the practice. Put it in writing for yourself. It's a lot harder to cross those boundaries when you have it in writing and it is declared from your own noodle onto the page, okay? And if you still choose to act messy, well, babe, that's on you. That's on you, because your angels, your ancestors, your guides, and your own freaking self, your own higher wisdom wanted this at some point in some way. And if you, for some reason, I'm getting fire and water. It's like fire and water. It's it just doesn't, there are things that are not supposed to mix. I don't know. That's just what keeps coming up, and there's symbols for that. But you want one thing and then you act another way. It's what are you doing? An air sign may be significant: Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. All right, that's my reading, and I'm sending you all my love-ins.